There are reports that Jon Rahm is going to join the LIV Tour. Now, this has been there for a while. The Telegraph reported Tuesday the deal between Jon Rahm and the Saudi Arabian Public Investment Fund, who's leading the negotiations, is imminent, may be announced in the coming days. Jon Rahm, the defending champ at the American Express, is not among the early commitments to that field in Palm Springs in 2024. He's 29 years of age, previously shot down rumors that he was headed to LIV Tour. I've seen anywhere from $400 to $600 million for Jon Rahm. I'll go back to February of 2022. This is my one and only time I'll talk about this, where I'm officially declaring my love for the PGA Tour. I'm a PAC member. I have a lot of belief in the Commissioner Jay Monahan and the product that they are going to give us in the future. He talked about the speculation for the LIV Tour, and he backed the tour again in June of 2022. He's interested in the history and legacy with the PGA Tour. My heart is with the PGA Tour. That's all I can say. So those are some of the comments that he's had. And I'm curious with the LIV Tour, do you need to spend this money if there's eventually going to be a merger? Now, if I'm Jon Rahm and I can pick up $400, $500 million, and eventually I'm going to be able to still play on the PGA Tour events, play in the majors, hard money to pass up. And less blowback now. If Rory did it, he's the one guy, Tiger and Rory would never be able to do it. And not that they would, but they would never be able to do it. Jon Rahm, okay. But if you're the LIV Tour, do you need to spend this money on Jon Rahm? How long are you getting him for? And if eventually they're going to merge, which they're going to have to, I get it if I'm Jon Rahm. Be tough to turn down that kind of money. How long are you going to be on the LIV Tour? Do you get to play in the majors? Okay, you don't get to do Ryder Cup or whatever. They're going to have stipulations in there, requirements, points that you're going to need to qualify to get into certain things. But if you're Jon Rahm, you got a chance to pick up that kind of money. I certainly understand it. Yeah, Paul.
It's a confusing story because, like you said, I wonder if Rahm and his people were like, this offer's still out there at this juncture. Why do you need to pay, let's say it's $300 million for me for a year and a half of work, but the vitriol against it isn't there right now. There's very little reaction to the story.
Yeah, it's been there for a little while because he's been backing out of things. And I think that's where people started to notice that maybe there's some breadcrumbs he's putting down, that he's going to go to LIV Tour. LIV Tour's got to eventually get to play 4 rounds of golf. That's the only real hang-up I have as far as, the events they have. Play 4 rounds. You don't need to do 3. Okay, you have loud music and you have some funny team names and you get to wear shorts. Okay? Nobody cares. I mean, you're going to be gone. You may not be forgotten, but you're still watching an event. If you're watching Pebble Beach, you're watching Pebble Beach because it's at Pebble Beach. Whoever's playing, it's nice to have those great players. But I don't miss Phil Mickelson. I don't. I loved watching him, but I'm fine. At no point in the last couple of weeks did I go, man, I sure would like to have Phil Mickelson out there. I don't care. That's what happened. Like Bubba Watson. Love Bubba. I don't miss him. It's like, okay. All right. I mean, that's what happens. Somebody else will come in, and somebody else will win a tournament or win a couple of tournaments here. Jon Rahm's a wonderful player. He was a great guest with us, but I don't know if people are going to be going, not watching. Jon Rahm's not in there. When he's in there, great. When he's not, I'm still watching. So LIV Tour, whatever the plan is, it feels like they eventually have to merge. But
are they aware they're merging? Did the people who called him Jon Rahm?
I have no idea.
Are they aware?
I don't know.
How do you leave the PGA for a LIV Tour at this point when they're merging in like 18 months?
Unless.
Well, there's no penalty. I mean, if they're merging, take the money, and then you're eventually going to be back on the PGA Tour. I mean, people may go, I can't believe you left for, 14 months. But yes,
Is this a sign that really PGA was acquired by LIV Golf and maybe not merged?
Well, that's still trying to figure out, who are the power players in this, because it feels like the LIV Tour is guiding the PGA Tour.
By the way, I kind of feel like everybody's statements pre-Jay Monahan doing what he did should be almost like wiped clean. Because everybody, they thought they were backing the PGA and PGA was backing them. And it turns out they backed PGA and PGA cut a deal out from under them.
Yeah.
That's garbage.
Yeah.
And I don't really think that Jon Rahm or Rory McIlroy or anybody else should be like, oh, I thought you weren't going and now you are. Well, that whole thing changed once PGA decided to cut a deal without telling them.
That's fair.
Yeah. And I think there's a lot of golfers who feel like that they pledged their allegiance to the PGA Tour. The PGA Tour wasn't pledging its allegiance to its players.
Jon Rahm said he was betrayed.
Yeah.
There's a huge sense of betrayal.
Yeah.
I get that.
I get it. You want to make that money? You want to take the money? Maybe it's 2 years down the road. You're back on PGA, on the tour, whatever the tour is. I mean, they got to figure this out. Got to figure it out soon. But as far as those who were going to defect, Jon Rahm was the last name, it felt like, who was going to do that. So if he takes the money, maybe we'll see him. Maybe we'll see him in just majors, depending on if they allow him in. I mean, that's a big blow. If you're a diehard golfer, that's a big blow. But the casual golf fan, you just watch. A lot of times you watch for the scenery of it. Like, it's always at a great place. The weather's always great. Everybody looks great, having a good time. And it just feels like that's what you tune in with that sport. There's no Tiger. There's no Tiger. I mean, we're holding on to, a banged up, broken down Tiger right now. But as far as, and Rory, we keep waiting for Rory to be consistently great. Or Jordan Spieth, or Justin Thomas. But it almost magnifies how great Tiger was. That he's winning, I think, like one every 4 tournaments at one point in his career. We're not going to have that. Now they're going to do the rollbacks with the golf balls in a few years, where they're trying to take away distance. And what's going to happen is people are going to be going out and buying, Titleist Pro Vs and stockpiling them, because once they get to whatever 2029 or something, 2028, they're going to take away those golf balls.
Because these dudes are playing with wiffle balls now.
that they want to take away like 15 to 20 yards from golfers. Well, the average golfer is going to be affected as well, but they said, well, it's only going to be like 5 yards or so. Hey, I'll take that 5. I need that 5 yards here. Rory doesn't need an extra 15. Yeah, Paul.
Yeah, the USGA and the RNA announced on Wednesday, capping 5 years of study on this topic, that golf balls are going farther. That's a deep study. Who saw that one coming? Got to save them some money. That over the past 25 years, tee shots are traveling 30 yards further. And it's detrimental to the game. They're saying it's hurting local courses, distance. It's hurting the pro courses for like how they make it par. So in 2028, there will be a governor on the golf ball, where they can't make golf balls that have a certain distance metric. And for recreational golfers, 2030. So get it in now.
I brought this up years ago, that I thought Augusta was going to create their own golf ball. They're just going to say, you play in our tournament, because you can't expand at Augusta. They bought some adjoining land to try to make, I think, 13T a little bit longer. But they don't have any room. And that's what I worried about, is these great courses that have been around for centuries, that I don't want them to be obsolete. I want people to play that course the way that course is meant to be played. And then it became just about power. It was just hit it as far as Mickelson said years ago on this show. Hey, I'd rather pound it and maybe in a little bit of trouble in the rough, but I'm hitting an 8-iron and then somebody else is hitting a 6-iron. I mean, that's the philosophy that you have. But golf moving forward is moving back in some ways with the golf ball there. Yeah, Paul.
Yeah, this new golf ball that they tested that they are probably going to roll out, it goes with a big hitter on the tour. They estimate 15 yards shorter on a monster drive.
Yeah.
And people like Rory McIlroy said he loves it. It'll make golf. It'll bring back like the short game, the mid-range game.
Well, if I'm Rory, I love it because I still hit it further than everybody. I'm still going to be 15 yards further than everybody else. Now, it's just you got more shot making. And really, golf is not necessarily about shot making anymore. Because if you're a guy, there's golfers who just didn't hit it, 250, 260, 270 yards. Well, you're getting crushed out there. Those guys are playing a completely different game. They're hitting the ball 330. You're hitting 270. So that's 60 yards. I might put a wedge in your hand and you're hitting an 8-iron. The difference with a wedge and an 8-iron with those guys, I mean, it's such a disadvantage for these guys who don't hit it as far. But they can be great golfers. A lot of times you'll see golfers, even when you're out playing the weekend, and you got somebody who doesn't hit it very far, but he hits it right down the middle. And then he'll hit it right up to the green, and then he'll get up and down. That's what some of these guys on tour maybe they can come back to and have those players be able to get in the mix. Yes, Paulie.
So you got to stay on air for 5 more years, Dan, 4 more years, because there's going to be a story that some mid-level golfer on the Korn Ferry Tour was sneaking in bootleg golf balls to hit it further. Well, they check your balls before the round.
Well, okay there. Yeah.
I might take up golf now.
Yeah. Interesting time for golf. Interesting time. But then the golf ball thing, I like, the weekend guy, like, how dare they? Is somebody going to check the golf balls that we have in 5 years? You start stockpiling some of these Pro VXs. You're like, is that legit? Yeah, of course it is. Is there going to be a designation there? Like, is there going to be a blue light that you put it under and you go, okay, that's legitimate here? But you're going to have bootleg. You're going to guys selling golf balls out of the trunk of their car when you get to the golf course. Yes, Todd.
Is it going to be like that fishing story where they blow up the balls to see if someone's put little pellets in there or what the feathers, what's in there?